Oh, welcome to the Post-Wild World podcast.
Welcome to the Post-World podcast, second episode to our future listeners, because this is not being streamed live. I want to say that the video version, it's available on YouTube, but from now the audio version is also available on Spotify and Anchor FM. Today we are with my personal friend, Alex, Wild Anima. Thank you very much for being here.
Hi.
One of the hottest
I'm
days.
really happy to be here. Yeah, it's actually really hot out there.
Usually here in the city, when it's this hot, everyone runs to the lake or something.
Yeah, exactly.
So, Alex, you are music producer, but you are also, I could say, multimedia artist.
Yeah.
And
I don't know if I'm a music producer.
Okay. Okay.
I guess I produce electronic music. I'm a sound artist. Kind of.
But not only sound, right? I mean, you use a multiple of media, let's say, in your works.
Yeah.
You use objects and you do rituals, and we don't have to spoil too much, but it's very interesting to me how was the journey, that ended up like this, how it started for you in a way.
Wow, yeah. The journey, yeah, it is a journey. You mean how I'm right here right now?
Yeah, how are you right here right now doing this special work you do that from my side doesn't only involve sound,
Yes.
It involves a lot of different media, even non-tangible media, you could say.
Totally. When you were citing all the things I use, you said you don't want to spoil too much, but I immediately wanted to say, and I use my heart.
Yes.
I kind of like to say I use my heart a bit like a synthesizer.
Yes.
Because I'm kind of fascinated. I've always been. It's something I've always felt, and I didn't really place it in the heart before, or I didn't really know what it was. But I've always been connected to to this kind of energy that we can feel as a group in a room, and. Yeah, it's a big topic.
It's a big topic,
but that is, I guess, that is the seed, It's the seed of everything. And so I say I use it a bit like a synthesizer, not in a sound-wise way, but more in an energetic way.
Yeah. You also talk a lot about healing, let's say, something of the world that needs to be healed through this synthesizer heart, let's say.
Yeah, I like that.
Which is already pretty complex because it involves not only, let's say, usual music techniques or concepts, but also a very intense, let's say, emotional, sensorial work. And I can definitely feel that in your music.
Okay.
But I know because of your performances and so it involves so much more,
Yeah.
And what is it for you in like general aspects? What needs to be healed, let's say?
Right. I want to rewind a little bit.
Yeah.
That it's not like I own the right of healing whoever or whatever.
Of course.
But it's more like. The healing aspect has always been part of what I do, so it's more like something people describe as what I do as healing. It's not necessarily something I want to do that is healing, but it's like, it's as it is. It seems to be healing.
I can say from the perspective of a musician or producer that had played live and had also this, let's say, extra musical experiences that you have when you're in the same room with the spectators and something special happens, There's a lot for club music also about it because it's so obviously physical, but you don't do exactly club music, so
but I'm very, very inspired actually by club music.
How come?
That is the seed actually that brought me to electronic music, because
Mhm.
I actually initially wanted to be a DJ. That was really the push when I was not that young. Like I was kind of 18, 19. Previous to that, I was more into like, let's say, rock music or stuff like that. And I had like a total kind of epiphany about electronic music and like the early Daft Punk music.
Okay.
I come from Paris and France.
Yeah.
And it was kind of big, and I don't know, it just opened a part in my brain,
Yeah.
which probably was connected to my heart's brain too. But it really opened my mind, and I started understanding music like I understand people. It was like a language. And I thought,
Yeah.
at the same time, I was studying music in high school, and we were studying this piece, electroacoustic music
So
piece.
you have, let's say, formal musical education.
Kind of. As a kid, I had the classical guitar. But then in high school, I just took music because I knew because I liked it a lot.
Yeah.
I actually wanted to do this as a technical studies, but kind of like my father was like, no, you go to the proper study. Actually, that was very frustrating. But I still took a class in music, and we studied this electroacoustic piece, which was called The Fullness of Emptiness by a Chinese female composer called Chu Yi. And that was just before this Daft Punk moment, this club music moment. So it's a mix of this, kind of more, I wouldn't say classical, but contemporary, conceptual use of sound to express.
Yeah, more inside the academic story, let's say, and not so close to popular culture in a way.
As well, it's a mix
because
of so many things.
Because electroacoustic music is more academic, you know.
Totally.
You need the music to be written down.
Yeah.
It has to have already a, let's say, a script, you know.
Yeah, totally, because it's played in an orchestra.
Yeah, and I know with friends or older friends that are electroacoustic, educated.
Yeah.
They have always this prejudgment with the kind of approach I had, for example, to electronic music production, you know, which is outside from the technique, let's say, from the education, like proper. Even for electroacoustic music, there's a canon, you know, and there's a structure.
Yeah, for sure. You might be surprised, though, how many dance music producers have learned electroacoustic music. I've met a lot of them.
I know some, and they're definitely more capable than me, technical-wise, to achieve what they want when they.
Yeah, you might be surprised how many there are actually, and so like the path. So then there was this like Daft Punk moment, which I was still in France.
How old were you?
18, 19.
Okay.
Was the first years I used to come to Berlin as well.
Okay, but you were not living in the UK yet.
No, so that just before I had kind of actually a very spiritual moment at that time. I kind of went through a death. I changed my name.
Okay.
And
like an identity, self-inflicted.
I don't know. It's I see it also like. It's a mix of so many things. There's like a queer aspect. There's like a spiritual aspect. There's a lot of things. But so I had this Daft Punk and dance music phase, and I had this moment where I really went through this kind of death, and in 1 week I left my whole life and went to move to Bristol, UK.
And this is when you moved to Bristol.
Yeah, and I went full on into all kinds of dance music genres, big time. I was attracted to Bristol originally for the trip hop scene, of course. Portishead and Massive Attack. Yeah,
we know we share this taste.
I think Teardrop is like everyone's.
Actually
top
we
five.
met. Actually, we met at an exhibition where you were playing, and I think you made a cover
of Teardrop,
right?
Yeah, because I really wanted to honor that song. It's been at very special times in my life where it's just very special. And I actually don't really like covers that much, but I needed to make a cover of that one. So yeah, Bristol, and then I discovered the whole Warp sound, Warp Records, Aphex Twin, Plaid, Ottaker, Square Pusher,
everything.
The whole thing. I was just binging on that all the time, and of course drum and bass. So Bristol has the most amazing parties. It's like a Kreuzberg, and really special. I've never been to any parties like I've been in Bristol, because Bristol is such it's like a little ecosystem, and it's so nice that people don't get out of Bristol.
Okay.
So much. Well, it was a long time ago now. Maybe it's changed.
Bristol.
Bristol.
My British accent is not.
Bristol. Brazil is like the.
Really?
Is the.
Okay.
Yeah. Even in the drizzle, people stay high in Bristol. It's like a hymn.
Sounds very cheered up. I like it. It's
awesome, Bristol. Yeah. So to come back to this magnetic stuff, in those parties, I really and even UK festivals are very, very special, I find. There is something really special about being in a group, and the relationship of performer or DJ or musicians and the crowd, and the relationship between people in the crowd, and the relationship with the place itself. This whole combination for me is like super cosmic, let's just say it.
Yeah, because you said you had like a life-changing moment that you went through a death, you said.
Yeah.
And then did you rename yourself
in
this
did.
moment? Because names had a lot to do with this process, transformations of identity or stage of identity, you know? And there are ways in which you can cast yourself a spell of transformation, you know, and be more or less the owner of this, you know, change or so.
Yeah.
No, I was wondering, because of course I want to talk about your artist name.
Yes.
You know, I was wondering when did it start, and so,
wow,
and if it had to do some way with this moment, like turning point you were talking about.
Yes, but in a really non-linear way, because
of course.
Totally, because my Wild Anima, which really feels like my name. Even friends call me Wild or Wild Anima or Anima. That came much later.
Okay.
Now we're talking Bristol 2008.
Yeah.
Wild Anima came in 2015.
Okay, it's not so... Okay, because we know since 2 years.
Yeah, 2019, right?
Yeah.
And
so I didn't know for how long did you have this.
I had Wild for
Anima.
a long time. Wild, so it's always been there. Well, it was actually had a solo project, very ambient, experimental, called Curo Sounds.
Okay.
When I was in Bristol, and I also lived in Devon, in the countryside.
Yeah.
And then I started this I don't know. I needed to kind of connect with my family and smaller brothers and sisters, and I created the Wild Fox Collective.
Nice.
So that's where Wild started.
Okay.
And then while I was still in Bristol, I met a friend with whom we did a dream pop duo. That was Wild and the Fox. My friend, Alexis Domery, and his brother Lucien, who are now called Cosmosuna.
Okay.
Yeah, we had a little band for a year, which feels like 5 years actually. It was really amazing. We were touring in England and France a little bit.
Yeah.
So that was Wild and the Fox. And then I had a pretty difficult time in my life, personal life. Hey! And the band kind of dismantled. It was impossible for me to continue. but Wild was still there, and
The feeling, you mean?
yeah, Wild was always there. And I actually I had started studying at that time, like in 2014. I went to
At the
study really
university?
late. Yeah.
What did you study?
So music and it's called composition assisted by computer assisted composition.
Wow, sounds very sober
Very French.
and very, yeah.
I didn't actually finish. I moved to Berlin before I finished that.
Of course.
But I also studied philosophy before that. When I was in UK, just
You started philosophy as a career.
I studied philosophy, kind of like I was living in the UK and I needed health insurance, so I decided I would study. If I had to study, I thought I'm gonna study philosophy. And yeah, actually, I feel like this is behind all of my art. It's philosophy.
Of course.
I'm a philosopher.
Yeah.
But I don't like to say I'm a philosopher because actually like takes it out.
No, but I understand. I mean, things I have studied that kind of never helped me in a practical way in life. Sometimes I curse, even I regret my decisions, but because of reading philosophy did something that therapy or a lot of things that you could try to help you with these transitions didn't do, and they are really behind also everything I do, so I can understand that for sure.
There was a lot of it's like this good old thing, the philosopher doesn't live the life he preaches, there's something about that.
There's a philosopher from Argentina called Tomás Abraham. He specialized in the life of the philosophers, and he says he has a book. It's called Philosophical Lives, and he says a philosophical life is not the life of a philosopher, but it's a life that needed to develop a certain philosophy to survive.
Yes. Yeah, I like that. Now we're starting. Go. Boom, boom. Spit it out. Yeah.
So, for me, something I could never do, I think, I cannot try it now online, academic music education. I always had the prejudgment because since I always had this total emotional, feelings-based approach, with most cases were limiting. It was limiting because I didn't have the technical tools but I have the fear that if I would learn them, I would lose this, let's say, more emotional approach, And
actually, you would really like music studies.
I like it, because it's kind of nerdy.
I realized it's awesome. Like some of it is, what people think of the musicology. But some of it is amazing, like, because you have so many subjects and different classes, like the philosophy of music. That's how I found my name, in a philosophy of music class.
Which is there's a branch of art philosophy, let's say.
Totally, with a amazing like teacher. I really want to talk about this teacher. It's called Leo Larbi. Actually, he was like, I think, not much older than me because I started late, and he must have been like a PhD student or something. And his classes were like amazing. They were like music, and very, very profound, and you would have loved them. Really talking about very subtle things about soul and sound and concepts in philosophy, but like real concepts, not just like flying stuff. And I was kind of daydreaming in his class, and he mentioned a philosopher, Saint Augustine's quote, "Distantio animi," which is
from the Middle Ages, probably, no?
And then he that means the tearing of the soul. And at the same time, it's kind of a crazy combination. At the same time, because I have crazy mind. Like I'm in many places at the same time. So I was like, I need to find my name, like wild animal, and like the Distantio Animi created Wild Anima. What's anima? And I typed it on my laptop, and it was like, that's exactly what I want to express. Carl Jung's anima. I had no idea of this concept.
Yeah, now it's a category, it's a concept from Jung, that is a philosopher and psychologist.
Exactly, that anima is the creative feminine part in men.
I love it.
And I was like, wow, that was huge. That's like a
it's still binary.
In the class.
It's still binary, let's say, but it was many decades ago, so it's still progressive.
Yeah, of course it is, of course. And
but Jung
I don't strictly put myself in that concept, of course. And anima means so many things now, I think.
Yeah.
But
and what was it exactly, the category of anima? Because I'd never studied it. I don't know it.
I never studied either.
But for Jung,
it's the creative feminine part in men.
Okay, it's directly that.
Yeah. And the animus is the creative masculine part in women.
I read, I think at your web or at an article, that is the raw state of nature sleeping inside all of us.
Yes.
The intimate part of our living essence.
That's my own definition of
nice.
Wild Anima.
That's your definition of anima, let's say.
Wild Anima,
which is wild
the wild
okay.
soul, yeah.
Because we were talking about this approach, external from the only technical approach or academic approach, and so to producing music.
Mm-hmm.
And in your case, I think it coexists in your music, like something very linguistic, like literally, like in the lyrics, and so, but also something very pre-linguistic that is working, that it has to do with the pure emotional state. Wow,
I love that. Thank you. It's it's very special to hear it from someone else. Yes.
It makes something like a Baroque construct, because they are really coexisting at the same time. And because the lyrics are talking about it, but also if you didn't understand the lyrics or the lyrics weren't there, also the music is working in like a parallel subconscious, let's say.
Yeah, because I work really with energy. Mainly the prima matera, like is the energy. So my thing is intention. What's the intention I'm putting out in the room? And that later I learned that comes from using our hearts as a transmitter and also as a kind of oscillator to receive information.
Yeah.
That I learned really recently, since 2018. I had a huge awakening. It's a proper awakening.
The second one.
Yeah. That was like the second big one. Yeah. That was a real awakening on the. I still am in that, like, after
this thing, heart
Big Bang
thing,
effect.
Thing.
Trying to understand what.
It sounds like this heart thing, synth, can be used also to make in drum and bass beats.
Yes, exactly.
And it sounds a lot of times like it.
Totally. Yeah, I had the.
I think maybe there was something there working.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's a whole process. Even like when I was a kid, I had the. I used to go to McDonald's with my father, and I got this mini disc with like this 90s dance music. This is everything. That's where it began. Put the disc and like rave on my own.
Of course.
That's exactly. That's like. Because I lived in suburbs of Paris, I didn't grow up in nature at all. Like most people think I'm like from the wild.
Yeah.
I'm from the wild inside. Like
exactly.
The nature for me was these moments where I was like really wild child, like dancing, and I was really digging the wilderness inside my body. Yeah,
I can
emotions.
understand. I come from a very, very urban,
urban, like
cement,
skyscrapers.
jungle city.
Same.
And if it wasn't because I was going with the Boy Scouts on the weekends to the kind of forest, you can say, it's not forest like here, If it wasn't for that, like my contact with nature would have been close to none, you know?
Actually, yeah, it was kind of like a crazy split, because in the summers I would go to Greece, where my parents are from.
Yeah, you are half Greek.
I'm
half,
fully Greek.
Ah, you're fully Greek.
Born in France.
Okay.
I'm full blood.
Polemic though.
I'm really not Greek.
Okay.
I'm proud to say I'm Greek.
Yeah.
But I don't really speak Greek. I can.
Yeah.
But I have like a blockage with that. But I like to sing in Greek.
Nice.
But yeah, I'm definitely not a Greek girl. But I think Greeks would be like, she's Greek. Come on.
Yeah.
I'm French Greek. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. But so I would go to Greece and spend time with my grandmothers. And like almost no electricity, chickens in the village, you know, the toilet outside. My grandma was living in a house where she had a cave on the back where she would go and wash herself, no fridge.
Wow.
No, there must have been fridges, but there was still this old school.
It was your impression of it, at least.
Yeah. Like compared to the Paris flat. This was when I was a kid, I don't know, like before 97. 97, I'll be 10. So, yeah, the 90s. I'm a 90s child.
Yeah, 90s child.
Yeah.
Like dance hits child.
Yeah.
We were imagining how people would dance to this music. We didn't know.
From desire. Yeah, that kind of stuff.
So, we were at your second awakening. Do you always still in Bristol?
That's Berlin. That's like now.
Okay.
That
but this is recent.
Very recent, but also like huge. Yeah.
Yeah.
2018. That.
18.
The awakening, the hearth.
But
thing.
when you came to live to Berlin.
17.
Okay.
I was studying this music in Paris, and I had a gig. With Female Pressure. There was a Female Pressure party, and I just said, hey, can I play? I was still in Paris.
Yeah. Female Pressure is a kind of rooster index of feminine and LGBTQ represented artists, especially in the areas of electronic music and I think also visual, visuals and so.
Yeah, any professionals in the music industry.
And you are there since 2016.
Female Pressure? No, even before, like 2013. I mean, I'm there. I'm connected to it. It's a network. Yeah. So I've known it from 2013. So I was in the database. I'm not so active with it right now. Yeah, but I think I have been.
Yeah, I think it's very interesting though, because it's still a topic. It's still a thing. Like in many other areas, but since our area is more or less electronic arts and so, this is very representative of it.
Yeah, and it's a very amazing network. So from that moment where I was like, there was this party, I think there was Loop in Berlin.
What is the festival?
Loop, Ableton Loop.
I don't know.
Oh, it's like, you don't know?
I think I don't know.
You must know Loop.
Yeah?
It's like a huge Ableton festival. Loop. Yeah.
I don't know. I'm sorry.
No, fine.
I use Ableton since Ableton 4.
You must know it, but it just doesn't...
I have like a human-tool relationship. I don't follow Ableton events.
No, me neither, but yeah. So I didn't know Loop when there was this. So there was.
But it's interesting as an event.
Yeah, I think it's amazing. People have told me it's amazing, yeah. So it's kind of like CTM, but Ableton kind of.
Okay.
So... there was this party with like people from everywhere who came to Loop, like from the States and everything, but tiny party in Loop Hall.
And they all play with Ableton.
Yeah, I guess, yeah.
Okay.
And but it was a Female Pressure. It wasn't Loop. It wasn't in the festival.
I saw it on your past
gigs.
Yeah. I was researching you. We only know each other like on a friends basis, but of course I had to go a bit more journalist research this time.
So, bref. There was this party and I came. It was in November 2016. And I played here. And I said, what the hell am I doing in Paris? Like, and
You were not comfortable in Paris.
I just left everything again. No, not in the same way. I just like I can't finish my degree. I just like I'm not an academic. I'm a performer. So I left. I came to Berlin in 2017, not thinking that I would move here, just because it's like a mecca for me. I've been coming here since 2008, and so it's a city that's
it has a lot of emotional intensity, I must say, because
it's creative.
of the rest
for me, it's
of
the creative
history.
temple. It's my creative temple. It's always
it changed a lot,
connections.
Though, but I understand the feeling.
Of course, when you live in Berlin, it's very different. But as a visitor, it was always like very creative, and I have so many friends here. If I go to Paris now, I don't have friends. I don't know.
No friends whatsoever.
I
watch me grow.
I have some friends, and I love them very much.
Okay.
But it's really not the same here. It's like abundance of amazing minds that I'm connected to without effort. Without I don't do any effort to have this like network of awesomeness.
You feel is that a contrast from Paris to here?
Yeah, I don't know why. It's just also my way of being, and
for you especially. Okay.
Yeah, so I moved to Berlin, and like came to Berlin and just stayed in Airbnbs and met amazing people, and I played in another kind of female-related. It's not female pressure, but it's people who are part of the network, who used to have this meetup, Berlin meetup for trans non-binary female artists. And that was really, really important, and I really thank Anya Mila-Chiral, who connected me to an amazing label collective that it doesn't exist anymore, Celestial Sound from Florida. Okay. And it really connected me to my scene, which is also in Berlin. But I eventually went there to Florida, and it's like a little Berlin.
Right, I saw you were in Florida.
Yeah, in Gainesville, it's like a little Berlin. People are so cool. Yeah, there's like loads of tiny synths and like.
I was listening, like Berlin was kind of Germany's Florida, but not in a good way. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah,
like in a weird way.
Yeah, Florida is really weird. In my sense, it's not, because I've seen a really cool side of it, but everyone tells me Florida is really weird. But I really like it. Like the people I know, I met my best friends through these tours, like tiny tours of independent, self-made, self-booked. Yeah. I started to have a network, like in Central Europe and a little bit in the States. I've also got connected to the looping community, where I played in a Santa Cruz. That's also an amazing crew. I love them so much, especially the people who come from Mexico. There's a lot of people in that crew. Run the Loop Fest. I started really understanding that, my scene, that kind of, we haven't really described the music I make yet, but kind of like, singer-songwriter, but also electronic and
but your music inspires...
performative.
It has to do with what we were speaking before. Your music inspires very good, very creative writing, I have to say. Because I'm interested in arts writing, and writing for music is difficult.
Okay.
And I was thinking the reviews I read from your music, they were all very, you can tell they were inspired, you know?
Right.
Which says a lot about how this music works without having to be...
Because it's very ambient. I have I do many genres in the ambient spectrum, let's say. I'm an ambient artist, pop, experimental.
Sean Cage, devote.
Huh?
I mean, you're Sean Cage. You have like an altar with Sean Cage photo.
Not really. Who would be my ambient guru?
Yeah.
I don't know. The whales.
Okay.
My real ambient gurus.
Yeah, and Berlin. So you moved to Berlin, and it was.
So in the end, I really, really moved to Berlin in October 2020. That's my real official
Really?
Berlin move.
Okay.
But I've been in Berlin since 2017 because I was traveling everywhere. I did a residency in Latvia, in Riga, in like a tiny village in Latvia. Then a residency in Iceland. That is a huge step for me. It opened a lot of things.
That's what I thought you were from Iceland.
Yeah, you did. You thought I was from Iceland for ages, no?
Yeah, because the artist of the exhibition you were playing in was
from Finland. But
I was okay.
She's from Finland, but we met in Iceland, and she was exhibiting Iceland stuff.
Yeah, I confuse Nordic countries aspects. Sometimes I come from a very different place.
Yeah.
But it's funny actually because we also talk about Björk.
Yes.
And so in my head it's stuck like you were from Iceland. For me, you were you were grown in the woods, playing the harp or something.
I know. That's how a lot of people see me.
And it made sense because of
even the plants. I was like, let's put plants, but
these plants are
I'm
here
not actually a
herb.
plant girl. I'm not a plant girl in the first place. I just like the plants chose me. And people think I am this plant person, so they kind of get inspired and become plant people. But I'm not even like that. It's really interesting.
Psychology works in weird ways,
I think it's also the aura, this kind of I think people project on you, but you project that as well. It's just part of your being, not just your body, but I don't know. I have some Nordic. Even I would say circumpolar
but
kind
I
of
feel
vibes.
From our personal private conversations, let's say, we have very different reference systems. Still, we always talk about the same thing, and almost in the same tone,
we
because
do. We really have the same
effect. The same effect that this aura that you talk has.
Yeah.
It also has the way social psychology works, and how interpersonal relationship works, and so. And from different sides, you can interpret it the same effect, which really happens, and you can really relate to it, which I find very interesting, I have to say. How can you make this communication, even though you have different reference systems,
Yeah, absolutely.
So, and what's happening since you are really here? 2020 was during the pandemic even, so you were leaving
I might want to
France
talk a little bit more about Iceland and stuff first.
Okay.
Because that's challenging, to be honest. It's been really, it's important we talk about it, and we did meet in these challenging times for both of us.
This Icelandic a thing that I already have in my brain with you, so it's cool.
I'd like to talk about what we mentioned before when you said the healing and how that can has an impact on the whole cosmos.
You worked on this on the residence you did on Iceland,
I had this awakening phase just before preparing the Iceland residency. I was reading a really amazing book by Stephen Howard Banner called The Secret Teachings of Plants, the intelligence of the heart.
It rings a bell.
I tried to send it to you, it never arrived. I sent it twice.
For real?
Yes.
No. This is the Amazon thing you were talking about 2 years ago.
Yes.
Okay.
I have to find it. You have to read this, It's really, really amazing. It's amazing.
I think someone stole it twice. Some neighbor was enlightened.
That's good, though.
And
They should read it too. So I read this book, and so this book talks very, very, very scientific way on how the system, electromagnetic system, works with the heart.
Yeah.
And how we can actually understand the world around us, the environment, through that.
There are certainly proof of that. I mean, yogis are able to control the
this as well.
heartbeat, RPM, So there's
but
definitely
it's not
ways
just that. It's I've talked about it so many times right now. It's but I want to tune into that because it's very special, and the way it's written, it's just super scientific, but it's also really poetic.
Yeah.
It's it's amazingly written. He's American.
Okay.
but I think, I don't know, maybe I don't think he's native, but there's something about the native wisdom, Native American wisdom in his, maybe his partner might be, something like that. And actually I contacted him because in the end I used sounds from his voice in the album that I came to make, inspired by that, called Alchemy, which is having a birthday tomorrow, which we mixed together.
Yeah, it's true.
You were part of Alchemy, you are part of the production. We mixed in this place.
Sadly, though, because I listened to an album from you today, it's much better mixed than ours, I have to say.
No, I sent it to a studio.
Like the one that has the mirror that I'm always now on my head.
Oh, yeah, that's my friends from Paris.
Liquid.
The Lion
This album
Lion
is
guys.
amazingly mixed. It sounds so good.
Which one?
The liquid something, right?
Liquids.
Water songs. Water songs.
What?
No?
Oh, the mirror.
It has a mirror on it.
But the others I mixed like on my on a JBL
they
speaker in the lockdown.
Wow.
Really?
Yeah, for reals. Better than the ones we mixed for months here, I have to say.
No, they're good. I had them mastered in Asheville at Drop of Sun Studios. They're amazing people, Adam. And yeah, he said the mix was nice.
Cool.
So, shut up.
Okay.
Where are we? Yeah, so Iceland. The whole awakening came to me because I met somebody that made me feel this like I had a really crazy feeling. Like it was like I played a gig and like met someone and like I don't know, I just met the person and felt this like this thing. And after I discovered the book, it was through a YouTube video that explained it, and I was like, oh, that's what it is, you know.
What did it explain?
This feeling, and that's a feeling that I felt all my life, and that I've been using in my shows, and I didn't know how to name it. And this book named it. It's the electromagnetic field of the heart.
Maybe it's the same way I could make music without knowing music.
Yes.
Maybe there are some of these tools I used without knowing, you know.
Yeah, exactly. Intuition.
Okay, maybe it has to do with this structure that exists, you know, beyond language or pre-language, maybe.
Yeah. So it's just a process it's a spiritual life journey, and So the whole thing. More and more I feel like I actually shouldn't talk about it. It's just through the music and the performance that people actually get it, but it's very hard to talk about what I'm trying to say.
It's very difficult because you have to put in words things that have a totally different nature, you know?
So I came up with this name Alchemy, and I changed the how you write it. Yeah. I changed
the spelling
with a K to differentiate it from like the alchemy of like the science of alchemy. Yeah. But to call these things that I'm trying to explain, the alchemy of the electromagnetic field of the heart, who merges with the electromagnetic field of the planet Earth. Yeah. And how this connection is really, really healing. I really can't explain it, how this for me is an awakening. Yeah. And very, very profound in my life, as how I live my life. And I think it should stay mysterious, actually. Yeah. And people should find out in their own way.
At some point you develop in your work, inside your object of work, let's say, the environment part, the ecology, let's say, oriented consciousness
so
part.
This has been for a long time.
And I would like to talk about this at least for the last part.
Yes.
Because it includes a lot in what you do, I think. And since you were talking that it wasn't your context when you were...
and I was never like a eco person. I was always into, I mean, I am definitely an eco person, I've always been, but I was never
What
calling
is an
myself.
eco-person?
I was never calling myself. I'm an ecologist. Blah blah blah. I always loved nature and the wilderness. I never thought of myself as like this intellectual, like ecology person, but it came that it was like coming out.
Yeah.
That actually, yeah, I am into that stuff, and
Yeah.
I actually understood what this mean. You know, before it's like it's just a word, ecology, and.
Also, I think it's something is becoming so serious that it's not even a topic that you could
and
choose
it's
to be interested in.
People use it for
it's
business.
really something that it will be overwhelming in the next years,
It
that we
becomes,
will
yeah.
have to change the ways we live
Yeah.
because of it. So it's not even like the environment
for
topic is not
politics,
something you
used
can
for-
choose to be interested in or not. And I'm sure we'll find out in the
Yeah.
next years how this goes, you know,
Yeah, yeah.
because it's
Yeah.
really a problem, you
Yeah.
know. And since we are not changing the way we are living,
Yeah,
then
totally.
it will develop forward. No?
Yeah, absolutely, and so it's part. We are part of the planet. Like I'm not gonna repeat the same stuff we hear all the time. So, yeah, it's the ecology of emotions. That's
Exactly. This
a
is something
term
you worked on, no?
that's really like very, very describes what I work with.
Yeah.
And it's a term that was birthed with my friend Alicia Erao, artist Lash Agave,
Yeah.
which I met in Florida.
Okay.
We played with. Now lives in Los Angeles.
Yeah.
Really amazing scene there. You'd love it. They're really, really into
I need
like
to go.
plants and synths and really awesome. Like
I
not
think I love
Hollywood
it.
people at all. It's like really like Kreuzberg people. Really lovely people.
Kreuzberg
Yeah.
is a weird / poshy neighborhood in Berlin.
I mean,
It's totally gentrified, but still.
when I
means
say
like-
Kreuzberg, I mean the creative Berlin. You know.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. It's
What do you want to say, Schöneberg?
No, I mean,
No, I can't.
Kreuzberg is pretty. Neukölln is even gentrified, so
Yeah, that's what I mean.
yeah.
What
but
do you
we
want to
still
say?
we still use it because they still mean something when you
Yeah.
say it. So
Yeah,
I can understand it. Let's
Yeah,
say.
that's what I mean. So yeah, so we came up with that. We were having long email conversations about preparing the residency. She came with me. We made a film that we released recently called Hidden Eden, and it was a really amazing. She's a half Venezuelan, so we both share this like mix of cultures growing up. Me French Greek, her American Venezuelan, and actually have Venezuelan in my family as well. So it's like
Really?
yeah,
Wow.
like my little brother has his mom, and even have Austria in my family.
Wow.
Such a crazy family.
It's
Anyway,
difficult to be a racist, no? When you have so many different
Right.
identity
yeah,
complications.
and now you talk about that. That's been a really a journey on our ecology of emotion, like really respecting the land and the native people, especially in with the US, you know, like especially mentioning that it's been really, really special. We've also worked with a visual artist that is
Yeah.
native, half native. Anyway, so ecology of emotion was something that came up through our emails, talking about how the landscape has an impact on us, and on this film. So the alchemy was about healing
Yeah.
through the heart and the earth, this connection. And in a way, the film for me is a part two, but was made at the same time.
Yeah.
It's more about creativity and how this is a vital element for humans, and it's not just a luxury.
I agree. It's not just job, you know.
It's not just a
It's
luxury.
something that
It's something we.
To me, it has to do with the
it's
human
like
condition.
exercise. It's like.
Where Foucault studied this better, but the Greeks used to have like daily common practices that had to do with kinds of meditation and kinds of exercise and things that had to do with the development of the self.
Yeah,
that
exactly.
actually since the
Mind, body, spirit. Is
since the Roman Empire, these things started to be erased, because they started to have a more empire, organized, functional, world and society. So they took out the good things about the Greeks that had to do with the caring of the self, like in a more multiple way, and they just kept the things that were functional in the way of the individual being able to function in the ways they should function in a specific role, let's say. But some argue that they took out some very essential tools from us in life in society, with the democracy and everything, but also tools that had to do with the caring of the self, that before they were common and now they are luxury, or they are part of the sociocultural group or whatever, like doing yoga or doing meditation and so.
So that's like for me, ecology of emotion is a really huge topic, and I want to write a book about the whole. It's like a research I'm doing, like a PhD. And actually, it's been in me. This whole research and interest in emotions and how fucked up our world is with emotions, and how we like see ecology with like the environment, how we kind of have to. There needs to be something on that level as well, because when I was a teenager, I was really into anarchism and like. I was like interested in that stuff, self-sufficiency, and like I was really going deep in it, like in a philosophical way. I was like, what is it, self-sufficient? We need to do that on ourselves.
I think that's where it has to start. That says a lot,
and that is the ecology of emotions to me.
It's
also connected to Tibetan Buddhism that I've been studying with Tibetan masters.
Wow.
Yeah, there's a lot to say. Maybe we do part 2.
Of course, with our previous guest, with Khan, we also have to do part 2, because we had so many topics that we couldn't cover that it was amazing. But let's do one more thing that actually comes out of this, giving this, let's say, global conscious body of work, like this ecology, being aware of how things are looking. And given that things are not looking good for the future, what do you think future ecologies
Thanks for this question.
will look like?
Thank you very much. So, let's go. Wow. On which level?
What do you feel right now about this?
About ecology? I think...
What do you feel like future ecologies would look like? Like possible, speculative, since how you feel right now on how things are going?
I think actually people are more sensitive to it in a way, whether they want it or not. And I feel that my sense of this ecology is like it's happening in our circles where we are meeting in small group. It's more locally based, community based. We're making our own parties. I think that is the future of music, especially. And
sectarism, you mean?
No, like descaling the whole system.
Okay.
Making
more local in a way.
Like especially in music, I often talk about like having that ecological approach in the music industry. Where we like really also like how it happened in the food industry. There is like organic and everything. It needs to happen in the music industry, and I think it is happening, where we much more aware of our neighbors, who's playing next to you, what's instead of always looking up to the idols. And I don't know, it's a broad topic too.
It's difficult to say, but how's your feeling about this, like the glass half full or half empty in this regard?
For what? For music or for ecology?
I mean,
environment?
like the socio-cultural ecologies, what we are being able to construct as a society, and therefore also personal life, individual life. But do you think positive about it, or do you feel pessimist? You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's why I ask in what level, because...
do you think we're going to survive? For how long? This is a post-war podcast question.
Yeah, right. Don't forget that. Okay, I have an
Our
answer.
producers asked me to ask this question. You know, it's on the contract.
Right. All right, producers. I have an answer. You will like this answer. The whole thing, we live in an illusion. Like, I know it sounds stupid and it sounds, just remember that.
It's scary though. It's like the simulation theory.
But no, just remember that in a way that is not scary, in a way that is empowering.
You think that's possible?
Yes. I know. I myself, like, have a lot of fear, you know.
I want to believe you for sure.
But we do, you know. We live in an illusion. Like, everything is illusion. Like, just like study quantum physics. It's
oh my God, that's my worst whole world. Universe theory is the
it's like it's an illusion
theory.
And it's not,
it's the
because
one that
it's
is
tangible.
More fearful for me. It's like yeah. But I hope if this is the case, that it's possible to have an illusion, but it's also benevolent.
So
I really want to hope that.
Yeah.
But I don't know.
It is. I mean, it's up to you. That's all. In that sense, it's an illusion because it's up to you to. That is benevolent. I went into the multidimensional answer. But why not? Yeah.
Right.
Okay.
Thank you, Alex.
Thank you, Pablo.
Yes.